True crime, a very well-known popular genre. It's been a thing since the 16th century. Between 1550 and 1700, publications of reported capital crimes were circulated by newspapers. Right now, in today's day, there are novels, movies, podcasts, television shows, you name it. True crime, some might say, is a way it can connect to its audience by being invested in a mystery. Almost like watching Knives Out, but with real people. And the viewer is cosplaying as Benoit Blanc.
But we must look a little closer. And when we do, we see the donut hole has a hole in its center. It is not a donut hole, but a smaller donut with its own hole. And our donut is not a hole at all.
However, with all the access to real criminal cases, it's gotten to the point where I question if it's magnified in every media type for good reason. Is true crime omnipresence justifiable? This is Naji Youssef, and in this video essay, I'll be diving into the ethical dimensions of true crime media, focusing on the true crime prioritization of entertainment over sensitivity. Out of all the true crime YouTubers, one I'm going to pick and talk about is Stephanie Sue. To give some background, Stephanie Sue has a significant amount of following and engagement from fans. She has 3 channels: Stephanie Sue with 3.55 million subscribers, Miss Mango Butt with 1.58 million subscribers, and Rotten Mango with 1.59 million subscribers. She is known for story times and mukbangs. Yep, you heard that right. She eats while talking about cases, about real people. Between consuming food and discussing serious and often heartbreaking events, this can come off to many people as tone-deaf and very disrespectful. Another problem is the lack of ethical boundaries. Stephanie's YouTube videos seem to blur lines. What I mean by this is she twists her story time to be more entertaining than informative. Some observations right off the bat: she often adds her own emotions as if she were the victim herself.
And when they finally arrested her, they searched her purse.
They found the sausage, huh?
Yeah, they were like, ma'am.
She also adds unnecessary commentary, jokes, and laughs, all while telling these stories.
You know what a breast pump is, right?
Yeah.
It squeezes the milk out of your boobs.
I mean, I don't know if I have milk here.
It's understandable that some of the details being mentioned are uncomfortable or graphic, and some cope differently with those things. But it's also plain mannerisms to apologize for when those things do happen. A subreddit named Stephanie Sue Stories is a place where fans comment about her latest videos, discuss her content, and overall just interact amongst each other. Someone posted a long, detailed description of how her mother was a victim of a crime case Stephanie Sue had posted. I'm going to read some part of the posts. Quote unquote, my mother, who was the most beautiful woman inside and out, who did everything in the world to make me and my siblings happy and healthy, who was the most caring and hardest worker I know, got brutally and painfully murdered when I was 8. Around 3 years ago, Stephanie made a video covering the murder in a mukbang video, and it was the most disrespectful depiction of my mother's murder I've ever seen. End quote. She mentions the previous points I have also made before. Quote, in the video they were eating, Stephanie made sex jokes with her partner, and my mother's brutal and traumatizing murder, the most traumatic day of my life, where I was told my mom was gone and she's not coming back, was put down to a casual story time mukbang video. I didn't know anyone could talk about murder of a real life person in such a casual way. End quote. The original poster states that she's been attempting to get a hold of Stephanie and her team for 3 years. She had all the people she knew, her family, her friends, etc., try to bombard all her emails and DMs on different social media platforms, but was continually ignored. Quote, I don't want awareness. Both the killer and my mom are dead, and I just want to be left alone. Most YouTubers are very nice and respect us, but there are a few who ignore us, and that includes Stephanie. Ever since that day Stephanie uploaded the video, I have been emailing her. I've begged her. I've even sent it to her confession page since my close friends told me to try that when they were helping me reach out to her. My family friends have emailed her. My friend group have emailed her. We've been trying for years, and it is still up to this day. We are a poor family in a poor country. All we have is asking and praying. All I know now is that trying to be public with this topic will end up in severe harassment. I have come to terms that she does not care, and there is nothing respectful about her getting money to this day of my mother's brutal murder and the pain she suffered, despite me and my loved ones collectively sending over 100 emails over the past 3 years to please take it down. End quote. As expected, people criticized Stephanie. I too felt sympathy for the original poster. Why would anyone want to do that to somebody? Her fans were even questioning their morals for even engaging in her videos. Redditor Zelly Cheese commented, quote, that last part makes me want to reconsider my consumption of her content. I hope she sees this and do action not only to the video she posted about your mother, but also her past videos. End quote. Another commenter, Difficult Mud 7582 wrote, quote, I can't believe I've been supporting someone for years who has such little respect for actual victims. This is absolutely unacceptable and disgusting. End quote. Receiving bucketloads of comments from people ready to unsubscribe, of course, made Stephanie allegedly make a throwaway account and apologize in the comments and assure the original poster that she had not seen those emails. Allegedly. Redditor Unethical comment only made me think about another point on why this genre needs some reevaluation. Quote, it should be a wake-up call to some of y'all that some of the things she did really re-traumatized some victims, and nothing about true crime mukbang is respectful or decent. End quote. Hypothetically, if I had gotten murdered, God forbid, and someone told my case without permission by my loved ones, who are probably still grieving, by a YouTuber with sponsors in their videos and shoving food down their throat, I would personally raise hell. Respectfully. A big company like Netflix did something similar. You would think a higher production like them would go for more of a respectful route, right? In the talked about series Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, Shirley Hughes, mother of Tony Hughes, who is unfortunately one of the many male victims of the serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer, speaks out. She concluded that, quote-unquote, it didn't happen like that. She doesn't think it's fair Netflix isn't obliged to ask for permission, even though they use both of their names and put their personal stories out there. She is now 85 years old and re-traumatized. She feels as if she has to grieve all over again.
And my son trusted him as a friend, and he didn't have to go to his house for money, because today the last day I saw him, he had cashed his check. He had over $400 in his pocket, so he didn't need his $50.
According to BrightQuest treatment centers, retraumatizations happens more frequently than thought about. Defining what it means, retraumatization is when a significant person with PTSD is exposed to events, situations, environment, etc. that causes them to re-experience the past trauma as if it's fresh and new again. It can bring back unpleasant memories and provoke intense flashbacks. Re-traumatizing can involve physical and or emotional suffering. It overall does set back so much in the recovery process and makes it frustrating to do it all over again. Another victim's sister, Rita Isbell, delivered an impact statement at Jeffrey Dahmer's court sentencing. She was interviewed by Insider. These are her words. Quote, "I hadn't written anything down. If I had, I would have torn it up anyway. My plans were to go up there and say how it made my mother feel, what it did to her and all other stuff. But no, when I got in front of his face, it was a whole new ballgame. I recognized evil. I was face to face with pure evil." End quote. Clearly, that was a very important moment for her, coming face to face with the man who killed her brother. And Netflix took that from her. Netflix took that moment from her. Same outfit, same words, same everything, and dramatized it without letting her know. And according to Insider, when asked to interview both parties, we can guess which side didn't want to respond and comment.
My name is Rita Isbell, and I'm the oldest sister of Errol Lindsay. Whatever your name is, Satan.
Is it possible to advocate stories well? I can show an example of a YouTuber who does it with some degree of respect. Kendall Ray, a true crime YouTuber. Once you go on her channel, the first thing you see is her bio. Quote, "My platform is used to spread awareness for victims and their families. I approach all true crime content with victims in mind first." End quote. She is one of the rare content creators who not only care for the victims, but the family as well. She is known to ask for permission before recording or posts anything. And also, Kendall and her husband have been working on external campaigns and fundraisers to raise awareness for the multitude of important issues as well. She's not perfect, but she's doing a lot better than other creators in the same genre as her. Just because true crime isn't my cup of tea doesn't mean I want those who enjoy it to feel bad for liking it. It can have good effects as well. It can have the potential to advocate for others and spread victim stories. It can also be somewhat informative. I've learned a lot to be very cautious while being out in the nighttime and to be careful who I talk to. The point of this video essay is just to bring light to the impact of unethical narratives in the true crime world of media. In other words, the normalization of prioritizing entertainment over respect for these stories. Because just like the family of the victims or the victims themselves, it can cause pain and unwanted exploitation of real-life victims and their families. Victims like Rita Isbell or Tony Hughes, people who do production or consume the content, forget that these are real people with real stories and unfortunately, real trauma. My hope for the future and how true crime should move forward is urging the essential for creators to prioritize empathy, accuracy, and most importantly, respect. Thank you so much for listening and watching my video essay. This is Najma Youssef, signing out. Mwah.